Welcome to ColourLogic. In today's presentation we're going to go through the complete workflow process of designing with the Process Metallic Colour System. We're going to take into account Photoshop, Illustrator and Indesign, showing how we can design with multiple metallic colours, gradients and image effects. First of all, we have to get the printer to run a print trial. What a printer needs to do is run this test form on their presses to their own in-house standard. This means they use their own CMYK process inks, they use the ColourLogic metallic silver provided with the starter kits or with their license, and they run this to their own in-house standard, so that means their own density and dot gains. It is very important that the printer produces it to their own standard because this is going to reproduce what is achievable on their machines. And all machines are different, and this takes into account different paper substrates. So if the printer ran a silk or dull paper, it will be different result to what they get on a gloss coated paper. The test form has been designed so that it has 4 quarters. Each quarter has a specific element to it. The first quarter in the bottom right hand corner is a picture of a butterfly design. This will actually form the front cover of a leaflet. So if you imagine the whole of this design here, it will fold down into an 8 by 10 inch leaflet. So the butterfly design is the front cover, and this has been reproduced as a masterclass tutorial program. That tutorial program can be found on all ColourLogic CDs. The idea behind this tutorial program is that it's a step-by-step guide that's been produced by a leading graphic design artist to be able to guide you on how to reproduce using Illustrator, Indesign and Photoshop. The next quarter up from that will become the back cover. This is the print certification test form data. So this is what we want the printer to put in their company logo. We ask them to put in the date it was printed, the printing method such as conventional offset, UV offset, the printing press that was used, paper substrates, process inks, metallic inks, and if there was any form of coating or varnish used. This information is important because it can then be conveyed back to ColourLogic so we can understand how the press run has been achieved. And also for the customer and clients that receive this as a sample, it is important to show them how that has been produced. We give an estimated guideline of the target densities. This is a guidance. It's not important that you follow these critically apart from the silver. The silver ink, we suggest if you have a polarization filter on your densitometer to measure the silver to 0.7. This is about 30% lighter than you would normally run a metallic ink on press. We normally ask the printer to run lower film weight to the silver. The lower the film weight allows our special silver ink to trap perfectly underneath the 4 colour inks. We don't need to put as much ink down because of the pigment technology used within inside our silver, and our silver inks are very different to a normal metallic silver ink that's on the market. The 4 colour process inks can be run to normal density though. If you don't have a polarization filter on your densitometer and you run to status T with non-polarized densitometer, then you need to be aiming for about 0.35 and try not to go above that. It's always better, as I said, to under ink. So you start off with a lower ink film weight and bring it up to colour on the press. The top left hand corner we have a selection of imagery. We have a security coupon. Now this has been designed with many metallic colours in there, and it's to prove that you can put in as many metallic colours as you like from our colour range. We've integrated dimensional and watermark effects, which we will explain later on in the program this morning. We also have 4 images. These have been converted using the ColourLogic photo conversion tools, and this is what we call our image effects, and it allows you to put metallics into all or part of the image, and we will go through this process in Photoshop a little bit later. The bottom quarter of the test form we have a range of colours, so we have some solid processed metallic colours here. These are colours taken from our test chart. So we have a colour chart that has 250 colours, and this is what we'll explain next in line. However, before we go into the colour chart, we can also reproduce each of these colours as a dimensional effect where light will change and bounce differently from the metallic as it will do from the 4 colour. And it really creates this switch and change where the dimensional effect pattern seems to go lighter and darker. It gives really great contrast in your designs. And then moving up from there we have a range of colours that on your screen will look just like solid colours. However, built into there is a Watermark Effects. Now this is the ability to be able to make a text or logo or some kind of visual pattern to appear and disappear in the print as you move it. It's subliminal, so it is there, but then when you move the print, the metallic reflects light at a certain angle and that pattern will disappear. What we also recommend the printer does at the same time as this test form is runs our color chart. So the ColorLogic Process Metallic color chart is the master guide of the 250 colors. Now imagine this chart here is very much like a fan deck or a swatch book. However, we produce ours all on one sheet at the same time, so you can put it onto your wall or you can have it folded down. Each of these colors has its own unique code, and that unique code is then built into a digital color palette that is installed into your software applications. So if you want to design with ColorLogic 059, then you design and you click and you choose that color 059 from the color palette in the design programs. It's important that the printer then produces this to the same standard he produced the test form. And what we recommend, the reason why we ask them to do this at the same time, is that you can print this test form on the back of the same piece of paper as you printed the certification test form. So you do a work and turn, and then when you fold it down you have the test form with a nice butterfly image on the front, and when you open it up you have the color chart on the other side. And again, we ask the customer to put in their company details, so that's the company logos, contact details, website address, etc., and any production information that's important to the print run. The reason why we ask you to co-brand this is because it is the printer's system. It is supported and backed up by ColorLogic, and our branding and logo should remain on all of this information. However, it is important when you go to your clients that it has your contact details on there. So the customer takes this form, they then design with the design suites that you will then provide to the clients, and the design is then given back to you based on your working conditions. Okay, so that's the two basics. We ask that the printer submits a few samples of each of these forms to ColorLogic for approval and certification process. The certification process means that we will analyze and qualify the printer based on the printing parameters that we specify, and also to ensure that they are meeting our criteria such as ink trap performance, that the metallic inks are working correctly, and if there is any improvement that we can suggest, we will of course do that with the printer. Once certified, the printer's details are listed on our website as a partner for ColorLogic, which we will then convey to the agencies and to the brand owners to be able to approach them for having their work produced in metallics. First up, we're going to design using Adobe Indesign. Very simple design. We've created a range of color palettes that are easy to use inside the design environment, so there's nothing really new to learn. We do have a user manual that's 40 pages long and goes in depth into each application program and each style. But first of all, let me just show you how easy it is to design a range of business cards. We've taken business cards because if you think that you have multiple people in your company, maybe you want each person to be identified with its own unique color. First of all, you would need to install the ColorLogic Design Suite. Now this is a CD that's provided by the printer. It's important to install this first so that the color palettes are in the correct locations. Once installed, all you would need to do is go to the swatches window and go to New Color Swatch. From the new color swatch window that comes up, simply click on the color mode and scroll down to ColorLogic Metallic Silver. If that location file is not there already, for example, if you cannot see Metallic Silver by ColorLogic, just go to the other library and go to your user manual. It'll tell you where to find that library file. When we click on this, it will then open up a whole range of colors in the list. Now I'm going to add a few colors to our main document. So I'm going to add ColorLogic number 50. Notice I've also selected two other colors at the same time. We've got ColorLogic number 50, and then we've got ColorLogic number 50 Dimensional Effect and Watermark Effect. So these are the two effects I mentioned earlier on, and they are pre-built into our color palette, so it's as simple as click and color. So let's just add a few more colors in the range. Let's take a few different styles. Maybe purple, and let's go for a red. Okay, so we add those colours to our list, we click on Done, and if you look in our colour palettes now, we have the colours I selected with the appropriate dimensional and watermark effect. So first of all, I'm going to colour up each of the backgrounds a different metallic colour. So you select the background, choose the colour. I'm going to go through and colour each one up a different colour from our range. Now each one of those colours is now designed with the ColorLogic metallic colour. It's got the silver pre-built into that colour as well as the CMYK percentages, so you do not need to worry about how to create the silver separation. It's all done for you. Next we're going to then zoom into this top design and we're going to select the My brand. Now this could be a company logo or a piece of text. It could be anything you want, and we're going to make this dimensional effect. So the background colour here we chose CL050, so if you want this to be dimensional effect it needs to be CL050 dimensional effect. Okay, so we're just going to go through and do the same on each one of these business cards. And what will happen is when this is printed, you will find that the word My brand is the one that will appear to go lighter and darker in colour hue, and it'll have this contrasting dimension where the metallic becomes very bright and lustrous, which makes this four-colour information look rather dull. And then when there's no light shining on the metallic, this four-colour information here will look brighter than the metallic. So it's that switch and change, like a flip-flop effect, that makes this really work. So dimensional effect can be summed up as no metallic surrounded by metallic. Next we're going to take this text here, silver plus process. Now this is to explain that all our colours are silver ink plus CMYK process inks printed on top. Now a lot of people find it difficult to understand how our system works, but it's very, very simple. CMYK inks are transparent, so if you wanted to create the colour green, you would print a cyan ink and then you print a yellow ink over the top, and because those inks are transparent, one will show through from the other and creates the colour green. So on that basis, if you put something else underneath those inks, such as our silver ink, the silver ink will show through, which creates the sparkle and the luster, and the CMYK creates the colour space. Okay, so we're going to create this silver plus process as Watermark Effects. Very simple, click and colour. And you'll just be able to make out a watermark type pattern. So again, we'll do this on each one of these colours. And there we have it. We have our complete range of business cards quickly coloured up with a metallic colour, a dimensional effect and a watermark effect. So straight away we've changed one boring design into four bright, vibrant metallic colours. And if you print this with the best offset silver, which ColorLogic sells, the best offset silver is a specialised pigment that allows us to be able to put a varnish or a coating over the top of that metallic and it will not dull down. Normally when you print a metallic ink and you put any type of varnish like a UV varnish or an aqueous coating over the top, that metallic ink will dull back and lose its brilliance. But if you use this best offset silver, which is the one that we really promote to all our users, it will retain that luster, which means that all your business cards, your promotional designs, greeting cards, magazine covers, whatever you choose that has metallics on will stay looking metallic. Okay, so we're going to go a little bit more creative here. We've done solid colours, but have you ever tried to think about, is it possible to gradate or vignette one metallic colour to another? Well, with normal metallic inks like a gold and a silver ink, you cannot do this because both inks contain metal pigment. The silver ink contains aluminium or aluminum. The gold contains a bronze-based pigment. Now, as we all know, metals are opaque, so how do you gradate one ink over the top of the other? Well, you can't. But with ColorLogic system, we have this unique ability to be able to gradate one colour to another. So let's take this blue card here. I'm just going to make a gradient, and my starting colour I'm going to put the CL118, and the end colour I'm going to make CL199. So straight away we've gradated two colours, one into another. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to turn on the separation preview in Adobe InDesign. I'm going to turn on my separations, and first of all I'm going to turn off my CMYK. So what you see on screen now is the silver separation, and you can see that even though we gradated our colours, we still have our silver as a solid behind the back, because all we're doing is controlling the CMYK design on the top. Where we have our dimensional effect, we've knocked out that panel of silver to create no silver, and we've got a specialised screen of silver built in for the watermark effect. If I now turn off the silver, you notice the top business card and the bottom two business cards, you cannot see the dimensional effect pattern. It only becomes apparent, and also the watermark effect, when you turn on the silver. So it's the silver that is controlling and designing that element. Now this business card we have in the middle here, where it says my brand, that we can actually still see. The reason we can still see that is because that is a different colour to the background. So if we wanted to make that disappear as well, we would have to make a gradient. Now in this instance we've got a gradient in metallic, but we want it to be dimensional effect, so we create the same colour as dimensional effect at the left hand side and the 119 at the right hand side in dimensional effect. But we don't just stop there, because the start and end point of the vignette is the start and end point of the design. So if we want it to blend in, we have to choose a start and end point the same as our background panel. So I've applied that gradient now. So if I now turn off our silver separation, our dimensional effect would disappear, and therefore it is still controlled, having a gradation effect with a dimensional effect pattern within inside it. So you can be as creative as you like with this system. It's just a case of click, colour and apply using the specialised colour palettes. Okay, so next we're going to go into, let's do Illustrator. Adobe Illustrator. Again, we've designed specialist colour palettes. One that we have is available from a graphic style library. So you go into the window menu, graphic style libraries, and you select the ColorLogic metallic silver. This contains all our file colours and our special effects as a graphic style. So if I want to colour up this square as, let's call it number 100, so ColorLogic 100, it's now applied the silver and the CMYK to that design. So I think you see how easy this is. If we want to do a different design with a different colour, all we do is look to the list and apply it. Now this is very easy, it's just a click and colour, the same as what we did with inside InDesign. However, a graphic style is a fixed style, so these fixed styles are based on having just a fill. If you wanted to do something with a stroke or a frame around it and you apply the graphic style, then it would remove the frame, because the graphic styles that we have built do not have that embedded into it. So we actually have another way of working. So let's just create, make a new label design. And if I wanted this to be, I know, for example, let's make it with a stroke on there. Let's give it a magenta frame, make it quite large so people can see. If we want to have the frame stay as the magenta and we want the content to be metallic, then we can use our action sets, because we've developed an action set that can go inside Illustrator. So we go to the actions, where was it? Oh, here we go. Actions. And we've got the ColorLogic actions, and we have one called Make Fill Metallic. If you just play that, it will then apply it to either the frame or the stroke. So in this case I've made the stroke metallic. If you want to undo that and make the frame metallic, select the fill, click on play, and we'll have it made metallic as well. So it's very simple, very easy to actually do this. All we have to do is click and design on the colours. So how do we put this into a working design? Well, let's just take away all these files, and let's first of all show you a design. We have a greeting card. Now on this greeting card we have lots of potential in here. I've designed this up with multiple metallics and effects in here. I'm just going to turn off my overprint preview. So from the view menu, overprint preview will show you what it looks like correctly on your screen. Without that, you will just see the silver separation sat on the top. So you'll notice that first of all I have a gradation of solid silver going down to 0 silver. Now it's important that it's 0 silver, and if you look at the color value it's 0, and not as a white, because white has a problem overprinting. I'm just going to delete that. Okay, so in the background I have CL100S. I then put that gradation over the top, and then when I turn on my preview I've got metallic blue gradating down into 4 color. So we've got metallic going into non-metallic. We've used dimensional effects to be able to create some of the stars, and also within inside the octopus as well we've added small amounts of metallic. So we just turn on the next layer so we can show you exactly what we've actually created here. Now let's look at the happy birthday. Because we've got no metallic in this bottom part of the image, I've put a drop shadow of metallic behind the back of that happy birthday. This is going to bring that happy birthday text off the page and give some dimension. So it's going to have that grab and user interaction. And this is what it's all about with the metallics, is getting interaction and contrast with inside your designs. We've created CL189 around different areas in the octopus. Now these are the darker areas. I've left the light pink areas as non-metallic because you want to retain some bright colour, some CMYK vibrancy on your designs. And I always work to a ratio of 40% metallic to 60% CMYK, or 60% CMYK to 40% metallic, or vice versa. So notice how we always have metallic next to non-metallic, next to metallic, next to non-metallic. This is all because it's contrast, and that's how metallics will work. If you put a metallic next to metallic, it looks flat. There's no edge difference between the two. So in these stars we have the background is obviously metallic, so we put the bigger star as dimensional effects and the smaller star in the middle as metallic. So again, metallic, non-metallic, metallic. So it's really quite simple designing up a design. Now think about this greeting card. If this greeting card was in a range of 4 different designs and you normally printed each different design on its own press run, it means 4 different types of metallics with the 4 CMYK process inks and any other finishing techniques, it becomes quite an expensive press run. But with ColorLogic we can add in as many designs as we like and print them all on the same piece of paper at the same time. So to prove this, we have 2 metallic inks we use on this top design with the octopus. I've then added on the same design another complete different image. So again we've got a metallic to non-metallic background, but then the stars, we've got 3 more metallic colours there. So we've already got 2 metallics on the octopus, 3 for the background, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So on that design alone we've got 14 metallic colours, all printed at the same time with ColorLogic metallic silver and CMYK. So that means 5 printing separations, no matter how many metallic colours you choose from our designs. And from our colour palette range you will only ever have to have a design with 5 colours on it. Now the good thing about this metallic ink as well is that it's actually recyclable as well. So it's a non-heavy alloy, so therefore it's able to be recycled. We do advise that if you are considering recycling with metallic inks that you try not to go above 30 to 40% coverage of any one job. This makes it a little bit more easier on the recycling processes. Okay, so we could save our design, send that off to print. Next we're going to go into Photoshop. So Adobe Photoshop, this is where we use image effects. Now there are 2 ways to design with inside image effects. The first design is to be able to use a metallic inside the product. Now we normally shy away from doing this because we really believe that metallics work best put into the background of an image. So for example you have, I don't know, imagine a golf club. Golf clubs are chrome. Then Chrome is basically something that's really bright already. It is designed by having a white highlight, a dark shadow, and a small amount of mid-tone range. So there's actually very little to work with to make metallic. What you've got to consider is that metallic images work by having highlights. So if you look at this, the alloy on this car, this rim of the car, we have white highlight areas, which is basically showing the reflection and the bright reflectivity of that metal alloy. What we need to do is keep those white highlights as highlights. You don't want to put silver in there because it would just make it look flat and dull. The same in any of the shadow area, like in the front grille and also in the wheel. You don't want to put metallic into these areas. So our script that we've designed has 61 steps, and it analyzes the image based on a set of criteria that we have designed and implemented inside our patented system. And the idea is to be able to run any image through this script, and it will give you the best separation that is possible, which means that for the user you don't need to think about how to put metallic into the designs. All you have to do is make a mask to stop putting it into certain areas. So I'll explain. First of all, we have the action set. Now you would go to your actions window, and from your actions drop down window you would go to the ColorLogic metallic silver. When this has been loaded in, you will find that we only have one action. It's very simple. It's called generate metallic channel. So you click play on that, and the computer will then go ahead and it will analyze the whole of the image. So everything on this image is been calculated to say, how much silver do I need to put underneath that separation to make it work on press? And this takes into account ink saturation limits, the trapping of the inks, the shadows and the highlights, quarter tones, etc. So again, very, very simple, very, very quick. One thing it will also do is it will allow you to be able to work in multiple layers and separations. It will allow you to work in RGB or CMYK. The script will always revert back to the last point that you were about to apply the script. So for example, if you design a job and you have 20 different layers on your design, and then you go to click on our action to make it metallic, it will make a snapshot of your design and remember where you were before it makes that separation conversion for you. And then it will revert back to that snapshot point so that it will actually allow you to be able to go back to your 20 different layers, your RGB mode or whatever separation mode you're in, and then paste in our separation. So this makes it user friendly as well. So I'm going to turn off the silver, the CMYK or RGB in this case, and you can see that our white areas have stayed white. The highlights on the alloys have stayed white, and in the dark saturation areas of the tyre there's very little silver poking in. The only areas where you actually have silver is where you have slight amounts of colour poking in. So what we need to do now is, this has given us the basics of our separation, but we need to make a mask. We don't want all of this groundwork on the bottom to be metallic. So you make a clipping path or a mask or density mask, however you wish to do it. I'll just show you the separation mask I made there. This is just making sure that the bodywork of the car and the alloy wheels are going to be kept in metallic. From there, go into the silver separation and you select and inverse your selection. So we're now selecting everything that we don't want. We then feather our selection. And it's important to feather your selection because you don't want to have a really hard edge around your cutout. So 1 or 2 pixels depending on the size of your image. Make sure that your foreground and background colour is selected to black and white, and then when you press the delete key on your computer you delete the unwanted area to white. So we now have our final finished separation. So it is as easy as run the action, make the mask, invert the separation so you select everything you don't want, feather selection and then delete it. It's all a question of removing areas from the silver, so you have that contrast again, metallic next to non-metallic next to metallic. So there we have our final design. I'm going to turn on and off the silver separation now, and you'll notice that the original 4 colour will look slightly cleaner and brighter. Now this is because you put in a metallic ink underneath the 4 colour, and a metallic ink is equivalent to 20% black, so all images will have that slight darker look to them. However, they do have that metallic brilliance and shine. Okay, so you could just then save your file and in this instance you have various file options to save as. So let's show you, for example. I normally prefer to work in either PSD mode or TIFF mode, depending on which application I'm working with, and each one of these will allow you to save a spot colour. So you just make sure that spot colour box is ticked, and then you have your file. Okay, so one image, quickly and simply done. What we need to do then is say, okay, that's a basic image conversion. How can I use this in a more design environment? So I've created 4 magazine covers here, and this is just to show you another example of how we can use our technology. And the 4 magazine covers are going to show you a whole range of different effects, and you can build these up in InDesign, Illustrator or Photoshop. Now, just to show you how easy it is, I've done this all in Photoshop pre-made. So we have, first of all, a fashion magazine. We have across the top a metallic panel with dimensional effect wording for New York, Milan, Paris, etc. The sparkle header, it has again a dimensional and watermark effect pattern. We have multiple metallic colours all the way throughout the design, and where we have this little circular design on the front where it says free metallic colours, again we've done metallic next to non-metallic to metallic next to non-metallic. So let's just turn off the CMYK and see the silver separation. Very easy. It's all done by using the colour palettes. Turn it off and you just have a plain, simple 4-colour design. So the silver is creating the effect. So that's quite a simple way of using it. Next we have another fashion type magazine. Now what we've done this time, we've got metallic gradients in the background, and we've also put a watermark effect wording. Now that watermark effect wording is designed so that it is basically will appear and disappear. So when you move the magazine cover, that word "and more" will basically appear and disappear in the print. We've also kept a little silver orb on the front to show that it's printed with a silver and multiple colours. Header colours like where it says summertime, eye-catching, pearlescent, these things we tend to keep in CMYK because they're the header grabbing colours, so basically you need something that really gives that standout effect. We have a wording that says Swimsuit Edition 2010, that's in dimensional effect. And then the lady on the front, she's in CMYK. By having that contrast with the metallic in the background will make this product or this lady almost jump off the page. She becomes more sort of like dimensional. Next up, a really creative one here. This is for all the design creativity people out there. Magazine cover for doing multiple metallics. And in this instance we've got the actual logo in metallic. We've done dimensional effect in the background. We've done dimensional effect in the word new, where we say the background image with this cyborg image. We'll just zoom in down here and I'll show you that we have metallic in the background, and again the main focus feature is CMYK, although if you look at this we have metallic content potential in the design. We've chosen not to make it metallic. Leave that as process and let the background do all the work for you. It's a subliminal effect. The word cyborg is in dimensional effect, but if we just turn off the CMYK, you'll notice we also have a drop shadow behind the back. And again, this drop shadow has been done using watermark effects. So that drop shadow will appear and disappear in the print. Next up, we have the lady sat on the chair. Metallic background. CMYK lady, CMYK design. And then we've put a watermark effect pattern into almost like the wallpaper to make it appear and disappear. And then, last image, we have the beer bottle. So the ice cubes have been made metallic using our script, and then we've done, it's a reversed type of watermark. Now this is a new thing we've been developing, is by, instead of printing a normal watermark, we're actually producing a small tint of silver, printing out over the top of your CMYK, so it will very subtly be there and appear and disappear. So it means that you don't have to have the whole product metallic to be able to create these dimensional and watermark effects. You can create it through just specific spot areas, and this effect will come in the near future. Last magazine cover, it's a simulation of Time magazine, and this is to prove that we can be very, very creative by taking one typical scenario and creating all these different metallic effects. We have dimensional effect borders, we have solid silver headers, and if you counted it up, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you've got at least 20 to 25 metallic colours on that design, all printed out of a 5-colour job. We turn off the CMYK and you can see how we've created these dimensional and watermark effect patterns in some of the different effects. So the top row was solid metallic colours, then we had dimensional effect on the next row, and then we have different types of watermark effect on the bottom. Very simple, very easy, send to print, 5 separations, and you have these amazing, vivid, bright, metallic, eye-catching, dimensional effects. Okay, so they're the 3 application programs. Just to quickly recap, the printer will run the print certification test form. They run this on their paper substrates that they use in stock in-house. They use their own 4-colour inks, their own dot gains and process control. It's important that they measure the silver density to 0.35 with a status T, or 0.7 with a polarization filter, and that's measured with a black filter. They back that same press job up with the colour chart. The colour chart is then provided to us, we qualify the printer, and they become licensed on our website. You can make your designs in Indesign, Illustrator, Photoshop and Quark Express, and we are currently developing our system to work with CorelDRAW for the signage market, and this is primarily moving forward into inkjet and digital. New technology that are about to be released in the coming weeks or months will be our digital and inkjet solutions. These are based on metallic substrates using opaque white inks, and again it's all controlled through the same system, but then mapped and controlled through the RIP technology. So as and when we have this available, we will then give you more information. Okay, so thank you very much for listening this morning. I hope you enjoy this presentation. For further information, please contact us on our website at www.colour-logic.com, or you can email us at support@colour-logic.com.